Today, I want to show you something that if you're going through identity loss and you're feeling this pain and misery and confusion and darkness approaching, and you're feeling afraid of it and terrified, I want to share with you something today that hopefully can actually give you this power, this sense of hope and connection to something divine that has always been within you. It's never gone anywhere. It's just within the noise of our modern life, we're unable to hear or feel. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here again. If you are new to the channel, my name is Estevan, and I guide and mentor individuals going through identity loss to live a ego and soul integrated lifestyle full of purpose and peace. Identity loss, I like to think of the experience. I'm a very symbolic and visual learner, and therefore I teach that way. I imagine it similar to you're on this road moving forward, and then in the distance you see this dip, this ramp going down, and it's something you can feel, you can perhaps see in your mind's eye. You can have an intuition about it. And to some degree, it is almost inevitable. And identity loss in some sense is the direction you're moving in your outer world is not congruent with the inner world. There's things changing within you that are not matching with what's going on in your day-to-day life and the direction that you're moving and the life that you're living. And when those two forces clash and collide, you put your values in question, you put your memories in question, your narrative in question, everything starts to become a bit confusing. And it's very hard to even sort of make sense of anything anymore. And so that feeling, those sensations compound as you get closer and closer to that cliff. And then at some point, boom, you head over. And once you head over that cliff, you can literally feel your energy zap. You are quite literally feeling internally this sinking sensation. Energy drops, motivation drops, desires, your care for anything just goes away, and you are slowly falling into that pit. The first thing I want to tell you when it comes to this pit, it is part of life, it's a part of transition, and it's actually going to be really an initiation and a transcending experience if we understand how to navigate this realm and terrain. And so very quickly, very briefly, I want to just touch base on number one. When you enter the depths, it's very important you do not embody, possess, or keep any thoughts, images, or feelings that come in you while you're there. So if you start, and these are all referencing your past pains, your traumas, your complexes, and these are all going to breach up into your ego, into your conscious awareness, and they're going to make you think things such as, I've always known I was a failure, or I knew this was never going to work out, I knew they didn't want to be friends with me, or I knew this dream was just something completely fake and in my imagination. All those feelings, those thoughts are going to come in, and then you might even see images of that. You might even feel feelings of shame and regret, embarrassment, anger, resentment. They're all going to come flooding in. When they flood in, it is crucial to be mentally in the state and embody an observer. You have to observe these things as they go on. Now, I understand as we get closer to the pit of identity loss, it gets harder and harder and harder. Having said that, it's very key that before, as we approach that cliff, you want to, figuratively speaking, tether a rope to yourself and anchor it to the self you were before you venture down into those depths. Because as you venture down and you keep that tether in line, you connect to that anchor point, which is the self, which is the person you have always had a touch with, who you know you are, if fully integrated with ego and soul. This way, as you venture down, you can always find your way back out instead of losing yourself in the maze of that abyss. But let's keep moving forward. Give yourself healthy borders. Do not indulge, act on anything while you are there. You might get callings to drink, to run away, to berate somebody, to attack somebody verbally. It's going to get you to want to manifest its desire. It needs to enact itself. you must not give it what it wants. It isn't so much you fight it. It isn't so much that you flee or freeze. It's more about letting this play within you go through its process. It needs to move through, flush through, observe it, watch how you're feeling, and what do you see in your mind's eye? What do you hear in your mind's ear? What is flowing through you, and do your best to breathe deep, slow inhales, slow exhales as this process continues. As you're in those depths, and this is the beauty of this place. You won't feel in the moment, and believe me, I understand it is miserable down there. It really, really is. But when you get completely engulfed in this shadow realm, this darkness, if there was a light, which there is, that light that says, let's say John, let's say your name is John. John, you have more fight in you. You can do this. You are meant for something more. And it's okay that if you feel these feelings, these are part of your psychic makeup. You will feel its light. But why is this? Now, it's very important that you go in with the framework that I just gave you, to not indulge into it. And that's when you will either feel internally, hear the dialogue, or see a more optimistic picture of your future. You'll see the glimmer. And the reason why you'll see the glimmer there is because imagine if you were in a forest, pitch black. If somebody were to turn on a flashlight in the distance, because it's so pitch black, you can see it now. You can see that little glimmer and walk towards it and navigate your way out. And assume that in this metaphor, that the flashlight is the exit, the upward trajectory of your identity loss, going back into an integrated state of your ego and soul. And now you're on the upswing, feeling yourself full of energy, full of power and creativity, ready to take on what you need to take on moving forward. But of course, when we're in that pre-dip of identity loss, we can't see anything. Now you're in the forest. There's a lot of noise going on. There's a lot of things happening. It's bright daylight. That flashlight, you're not going to be able to see it. You're just too disoriented. There's too much going on. But what does this mean that once you're down there and then you can actually now see that light and follow it, move towards it, that as you move closer and closer, you can feel yourself restoring with vitality, restoring yourself with optimism and the creativity of God himself. Sorry, I got something in my... You can start to feel it coming in. What that means once you go out of it... Sorry, this thing just got right in there at the worst time. Totally sorry for breaking the flow. Once you get out of that peak, now you want to remind yourself and connect and reflect and attach meaning, symbolism to that light within you that you felt. And you want to nurture it and connect to it. Expand on it. Ground it into your life. Have it pass through you when you're doing acts of kindness or acts of creativity or acts of courage. So that way, when the time comes, when inevitably, like all of us, we go through those moments of those dips and those highs, that as you dip through, that muscle that you exercise to spot that light from within will become brighter and will become stronger as you continue through your life with those swings. This was something that has really made a huge difference for me when I'm in the pit of that darkness, and it's done the same for the people I work with. Now, it may work for you, may not. It's okay. It's not you if it doesn't work. It's okay. I'm not one to say, oh, well, if it didn't work, it's your fault. Not at all. It maybe just didn't work out for you. That's okay. My practices work for some personality types, doesn't work for other personality types, and that's fine. But give it a fair shot. Give it a try. You might be surprised how well it works. If this resonated with you and you want to actually be a part of my community in a deeper way, beyond YouTube, click that button below, head over to my website, and sign up to my monthly newsletter. And I'm also going to send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide, and you can use that as a toolkit while you're navigating through identity loss, and even past it into your peak and trying to actually reconstitute your narrative, rebuilding stronger loop patterns within you to bring forward a life of integration of ego and soul, peace and harmony, that it isn't going to get rid of all your pains in life. That's no way a promise I'm making, but it gives you the tools to navigate through them with strength, with courage, and not letting it get worse and a lot harder than it needs to be, because it already is hard. Also, if you want to see more of my videos, click here or here, and that way you can continue on your journey. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.